Last year, Apple released the iPhone X, and many thought we were going to get a virtually bezel-less design with an in-screen fingerprint reader. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get the in-screen fingerprint reader working. Well, another company was hard at work at getting that in-screen fingerprint reader working, and they showed it off. Not only did they show it off, they actually shipped an actual product. It has that in-screen fingerprint reader. It also has a pop-up camera, alleviating the need to put the camera on the screen itself. So what are we left with? A virtually bezel-less design. Hey everybody, it's Andrew. This is my unboxing and first look at the Vivo Nex S. Coming up. Like these kind of videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification icon. This way you'll be alerted every time I post a new video. And make sure you're following me on Twitter. That's where I post all the latest updates. Now you can pick up the Vivo Nex S for $785, around that price. Now I picked up mine from tradingshenzhen.com. It was $786.51. You could also pick it up from places like GearBest. They have the 128 gigabyte version. That comes in at around $720, just to give you an idea of pricing. Now at $785 or around that neighborhood, you're looking at flagship pricing, but hopefully this will have flagship performance and specs to match that. But enough with the specs, let's find out what you get in the box. Let's open it up. Lifting the lid, you're greeted by the device itself. Now holding it for the first time, it feels very high-end, it feels very premium, has a nice solid feel in the hand. I'm extremely impressed with the presentation and the array of accessories they throw in the box. I like that. Now you get your quick charge adapter. I'm expecting fast charging times, as well as the USB-C cable, which will charge your device, obviously via USB-C port. Now they give you some really nice Vivo branded earbuds and some extra tips in the box. That's also a nice touch and a really nice case to boot. Besides some documentation, you also get a SIM ejector tool and of course the unit itself. Holding it, really first rate, really high end. I'm impressed so far. And I love that twilight type color, very similar to the P20 Pro from Huawei we recently checked out. On the top is a very welcome sight, a 3.5mm headphone jack and your pop-up 8-megapixel front-facing camera. On the bottom is your dual SIM tray, a USB-C port, and your mono speaker. The buttons are metal, have a good feel to them. Now there is a Jovi button, it's sort of like a Google Assistant type deal, and it's in Chinese so I didn't really use it. And they couldn't find a way to remap that button, which is unfortunate. There's a dual camera setup on the back, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. And so far I'm really impressed with the display. You're looking at a 6.59-inch Super AMOLED display. Resolution is 2316 by 1080. That's 388 pixels per inch, and it has a 19.3:9 aspect ratio, making it pretty easy to handle despite its large stature. And with an 86% screen-to-body ratio, you're looking at virtually no bezels. That's because there's no webcam on the front of the device. Now, because of its 19.3:9 aspect ratio, it is taller than your average device. It does have a large display, but because of that aspect ratio, you can manage it in the hand, and that's pretty good. And it has a highly customizable always-on display. And you're probably wondering, where is the front-facing camera? Well, it's a pop-up 1080p 8-megapixel front-facing camera. And it even has a very cool sci-fi effect. So this is the front-facing camera on the Vivo Nex. As you can see, it's a pop-up mechanism that runs on a slider. I don't know how durable it will be, to be honest, over the long haul, but it is pretty cool. Sci-fi, if you want to ask me what I think of it. It's actually pretty good as well. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I am curious to know. Now there is a portrait mode. It's very similar to iOS, in fact. It has natural light, studio light, stereo light, and monochrome light. And I thought it's kind of interesting. It sort of gives a good take on the portrait mode. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now it sports a dual camera setup on the back, a 12-megapixel main shooter and a 5-megapixel secondary camera. Now it uses artificial intelligence, or AI, to identify objects and people. Here in this scene, it was able to identify the Xperia XZ2 Premium. I have a review of that, by the way. That'll be posted in the next day or so, so stay tuned for that. But the AI seems to work as advertised. It can shoot 4K video 30 frames per second, 1080p 30 frames per second. Unfortunately, no 60 frames per second in either mode. Now the good news is there is optical image stabilization, and I thought it worked okay. The overall video quality is actually pretty good, but I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. I will be doing further testing more in depth in my full review, so stay tuned for that. Now you may be asking yourself, where is the fingerprint sensor? It's not on the back, and there's no home button to double as a fingerprint sensor. Rather, it's under the display, something Apple wasn't able to pull off. And I can say Vivo has actually done it, and it works really well, registering my finger pretty much every time I used it, and it was actually pretty fast. I'm impressed. Now powering this bad boy is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, a flagship processor, no doubt. 8GB of RAM, you can get it with 128GB or like I did with 256GB of onboard storage, and you also have a 4000 mAh battery. Unfortunately, there's no microSD card slot, so there is no storage expansion. And the performance is really good. It earned 283,877 on the Antutu benchmark. That's really good. And it did really well on the multi-core score and the single-core score of the Geekbench 4 test. Check out some of these results. And you can play games on the high settings, aided by the 8GB of RAM and that Snapdragon 845, flagship performance no doubt. It runs Android 8.1 Oreo and the Fun Touch OS. Now, I'm not a big fan of this skin or launcher because they don't let you put any other launcher on it. That's something other Chinese manufacturers are doing, and I'm not a big fan of that. Now, as far as the Fun Touch OS, it's a lot of Chinese bloatware on it, and I'm not crazy about the layout. So this is one big negative as far as I'm concerned so far with my initial impressions of this device. Now there are a plethora of languages to choose from, so that's good, and it doesn't come with the Google Play Store, but it's very easy to install. Just go to the Vivo App Store, do a search for Google Play Store, install it. It's very easy. It only took a couple of minutes. And just follow the prompts and you should be good to go. Now this is an unlocked GSM phone. In the US, I'm able to use it with my Project Fi SIM. Of course, I've already activated that SIM on a Google approved device. Once you do that, pop it in and it's good to go. AT&T, T-Mobile should work without any issues. I'm able to get 4G LTE speeds, no problem. Now I was hoping to get two speakers on this. Unfortunately, it's just a mono speaker on the bottom. Now let's hear it in action. Now, since there's no earpiece, it uses screen soundcasting technology, basically vibrating through the screen, and the call quality was actually pretty good. It surprised me a bit because I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. So overall, I think they did a pretty decent job in that department. Now it does have a robust 4000 mAh battery, and so far in my initial testings I'm seeing 1 to 2 days of heavy use, and that's pretty good, but I will do my further full testing in my full review, so stay tuned for that. Now there are a couple of potential deal breakers. Number 1, there's no NFC, number 2, no wireless charging, and number 3, no form of waterproofing. Those may be deal breakers, especially at the $785 premium price. So what do you think about the Vivo Nex S? I actually like it. I think two things come to mind. Number 1, the in-screen fingerprint reader works really well, something Apple wasn't able to accomplish with the iPhone X. It worked fast, registering my finger pretty much every time I used it. I'm impressed. The camera on top, it's an 8 megapixel camera that pops up, shoots 1080p, 30 frames per second video. It looked good, quality was excellent, and the sound was very good out of it as well. Now, I don't know as far as durability, how well this will hold up over time. If dust gets in there, they say it's rated for 50,000 uses. I don't know, we'll have to see, time will tell. Of course, I will do a follow-up review on this, but first, I will give you my full review. I will test that 4000 mAh battery. I will test everything about this. The display, it's a Super AMOLED display, 6.59 inches, and it looks really nice. Very sharp, very high-end. I like the color, reminds me of the Twilight color on the Huawei P20 Pro that I just reviewed. If you're not getting NFC, no wireless charging, no waterproofing, things you want to see in a flagship device. But the Snapdragon 845 has performed well on this so far. I will do further benchmarks as you saw with the Antutu and the Geekbench 4 results. It did well. More testing on the way. And I will also test the dual camera setup on the back. So far I'm impressed with it, but again, I want to see how well it does in low light situations. I want to see how it will hold up for everyday use. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. And if there's something you want me to review with this device, any particular program or application, or anything specific regarding this device, let me know in that comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, AMDtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMDtech. See ya.